Clerk will call the roll.
Glenn Whitley, County Judge.
Here.
Roy C. Brooks, Commissioner Precinct 1.
Present.
Marty Van Ravensway, Commissioner Precinct 2.
Here.
Gary Fickus, Commissioner Precinct 3.
Here.
J.D. Johnson, Commissioner Precinct 4. Constitutes a quorum.
Thank you. Our invocation today will be delivered by our chaplain, Dave Barrett, from the county, from the Sheriff's Department. After the invocation, please remain standing for the pledges.
Shall we pray? Creator, Father of all, you give us life, you give us love, you give us yourself. Help us to give our lives, our love, ourselves to you, so that we may better serve others, and thereby better our county, our nation, and our world. And we pray especially today for the friends and family of Chuck Silcox. Comfort them in their mourning. Grant them grace and peace. And we ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Dave. Mr. Manius, agenda announcements.
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the Court, we have two announcements this morning. The first one is under purchasing, item 9H2. This is bid number 2008-205. We're going to ask that we hold that item for a week. And then also, members of the Court, under purchasing item 9H12, this is permission to take bids. I'm not asking that you remove that from the consent. Rather, when we get to that item, Your Honor, at the end of purchasing, I would like to make a comment to the Court as it relates to bids and issues dealing with purchasing between now and January 31st. Thank you.
Court members, you have before you the minutes of our meeting of October the 21st.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of October 21st. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. We have several proclamations and resolutions this morning. I believe the first one is for Home Health Care and Hospice Month, and that's a ratification only, and I'll move its approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. The motion passes unanimously.
The second one is mine, Your Honor. It honors Jerome Thomas, one of the first African-American broadcasters in Tarrant County. It's been presented already. It's for ratification only. I move its approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Commissioner Fickus?
Yes, the third is a resolution to Carroll High School and the Tring School. This is a relationship. Tring is in England, just outside of London, and it's a program that was started in 2000 when the Tring School came to South Lake Carroll and spent a number of days there visiting and providing concerts, and the next year Carroll went there, and every 4 years they've exchanged again, and they're back this year. Tomorrow evening there will be a joint concert in South Lake, and I will be presenting a resolution to both schools.
Excellent.
So just not going to read it, but I would move that we approve it.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Our next item is a resolution to the Hearst Euless Bedford ISD celebrating their 50th anniversary, and I will read this. And we have a representative of school board, the president of the school board, Dr. Jeff Burnett is here, and I'll have him come up in just a moment. Whereas, from the 1860s until the turn of the 20th century, the citizens of the area that is now Hearst, Euless, and Bedford have provided new and improved schools to support public education. And whereas the campus that is today the South Euless Elementary School occupies the site of the original 4 acres of land purchased by trustees to operate a school and has continuously operated on that site since 1913. And whereas in 1940, the city of Hearst established a consolidated school on Highway 183, now Highway 10, named it the Hearst School, that in 1954 became part of the Hearst ISD with grades 1 through 9. And whereas the Hearst and Euless independent school districts merged into the HEISD in 1955, and whereas on November 1st, 1958, the Bedford Common School District joined to form the Hearst Euless Bedford Independent School District with an enrollment of 3,116 students, and completed the district's first football stadium on the site of the current Central Junior High School. And whereas the Hearst Euless Bedford ISD continued to grow with several additional campuses and expanded academic programs, including the Schools of Choice program and the ability to offer a global education with core knowledge, Suzuki Strings, International Baccalaureate, International Business Initiative, Spanish Immersion, Hindu and Mandarin Chinese Studies. And whereas in 2007 and 2008, the district was named to the national list of best communities for music education in recognition of their commitment to providing quality music education programs for all students. Now, therefore, be resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, join with the faculty, students, and their families and members of the community in congratulating the Hearst Euless Bedford ISD on the occasion of their 50th anniversary and the inauguration of the Hearst Euless Bedford ISD Hall of Fame. Dr. Burnett, if I could come up to the podium there, and I will bring this down
And move its approval.
and move its approval. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Say a few words. You're welcome.
I'll be very brief, but I will just say that the strength of Tarrant County is what has enabled HEB to flourish. It's because people come from all over this county to work in HEB in places such as American Airlines and Bell Helicopter, and because people have been willing to invest their lives and provide their leadership, such as Judge Whitley and Neil Adams, both of whom served on the HEB ISD board. It's why HEB has been successful. For your leadership and because of the kids of HEB are the beneficiaries of that, we thank you very much.
We certainly thank you for the time you've dedicated, and I look forward to seeing y'all Saturday night as we celebrate that.
And y'all have a great music department.
Commissioner Fickens, I believe you have another one.
We have another one. Let me find it. Okay. This is a proclamation in recognition of Stephen F. Austin Day. Whereas Stephen Fuller Austin was born in Austinville, Virginia on November 3rd, 1793, and is known as the father of Texas. Whereas after the death of his father, Moses Austin, he took over the grant his father obtained from the Spanish government, and whereas Austin renegotiated the impresario grant with the Mexican government after it gained independence from Spain, and then established the first Anglo-American colony in Texas, which was a Mexican province at that time. And whereas the citizens of this colony became known as the Old 300 because they were the first 300 families that Austin brought to Texas. And whereas this colony became the heart of a group of Texians that fought for and gained independence as the Republic of Texas on April 21st, 1836. And whereas many great accomplishments, Stephen F. Austin died on December 27, 1836, and whereas on Monday, November the 3rd, 2008, the Ephraim M. Daggett Chapter 36 in Fort Worth of the Sons of the Republic of Texas will celebrate the 215th anniversary of Stephen F. Austin's birthday. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, do hereby proclaim November 3rd, 2008 as Stephen F. Austin Day in Tarrant County, and hereby call upon the citizens of Tarrant County to participate in the celebration of this historic event in Texas history. Dwayne Blair. Mr. Dwayne Blair, thank you.
And you are moving its approval.
I will move for approval.
And I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
She's going to take our picture. You have a few words if you'd like to speak? Thank you.
Just like to say, I am the president of the local chapter here. We were hoping that our President General could be here, but and I thought he would be, but he's not. So I'm accepting this for us. We will be honoring Stephen F. Austin next week. On Friday of next week, we will be planting a Stephen F. Austin tree here somewhere around the courthouse. And we appreciate this proclamation very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Manius, where are we planting that tree?
Planted on the courthouse square.
Very nice.
He didn't answer your question, did he?
He just said somewhere on Courthouse Square.
On the courthouse square.
Okay.
Specific
Probably
location.
not on the west side of the courthouse square.
I hope not.
Good idea.
Now, eventually, we'll have to plant several trees on the west side of the Courthouse Square, but that'll be after we tear down a few other things. Commissioner Fickus.
Yes, we have one more, and this is the Gateway Church of South Lake Gateway Church, and I will not read this proclamation, but just very briefly. Gateway Church, organized in 2000 with 180 members in attendance, and today, this past Sunday, they had a groundbreaking on their new facility on Highway 114 in South Lake. Their membership has exceeded 16,000 today. They are building a wonderful facility on the north side of Highway 114, just east of Carroll, and we wish them well. They had their groundbreaking, and we presented a proclamation, so I would move that we approve that.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. You have before you the consent agenda.
Before you get to that, Your Honor, I would like to ask, based upon the fact that this community lost one of its premier public servants late Friday night, Fort Worth City Councilman Chuck Silcox. He was truly a mystery wrapped inside of an enigma. He could not be characterized. He was fiscally conservative and socially conservative on some things, and on other things he was just the opposite. He was a true servant of this community, and we are all diminished by his passing, and I would ask that today we adjourn these proceedings in his honor.
Thank you very much. We will do that, and he really was. He was a character, but he was absolutely committed to Fort Worth and to this area, and we're going to miss him. We really are. You have before you the consent agenda.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Your Honor, members of the court, we have 6 items to bring to you this morning. The first one, item number 1, we're requesting that the Commissioners Court approve an agreement between the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality and Tarrant County as relates to the vehicle idling limitations for the north central Texas area.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. If we looked out on the northern horizon today, we'd all know why we're
Absolutely.
doing everything we can on the air quality.
Your Honor, members of the court, on item number 2, we're requesting that the court approve a revised policy regarding to the employment of outside legal counsel for Tarrant County elected officials and/or other county employees. Let me just say that we clarified some of the narrative
There's no substantive change on the narrative piece. What this does, it increases the hourly compensation from $150 to $165 an hour. This is something that we have come to you for in the past and asked you to waive that or to set a different amount of individual cases. And when we first adopted this policy, it was quite a while ago. So we're asking that you approve this change or this amended policy. And as I said, the significant change in this is the increase in amount from $150 an hour to $165.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Your Honor, members of the court, on item number 3, we're requesting that the court concur with actions of the Tarrant County Hospital District Board of Managers and approve amendment number 2 to the office lease agreement between the district and Randy Montgomery, MD, as it relates to space commonly referred to St. Joe's Professional Building 2.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Your Honor, members of the court, on item number 4, we're asking that you concur with actions of the Hospital District's Board of Managers and approve a permanent sewer facility easement and temporary construction easement with the City of Fort Worth for an exclusive perpetual easement for the construction, operation, maintenance, replacement, upgrade, and repair of a permanent sewer line facility.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Your Honor, members of the court, on item number 5, we're requesting that the court approve Plan Year 2008 Emergency Shelter Grant Program grant agreement between Tarrant County and the Salvation Army.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Finally, Your Honor, members of the court, on item number 6, we're requesting that the court approve a memorandum of agreement between Tarrant County and the Day Resource Center for the Homeless as it relates to the lease of county space or lease of space by the county at the Day Resource Center.
Again, I move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I would just point out that these last 2 items are critical to the homelessness initiative in Tarrant County.
Thank you. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Right.
Under the District Attorney's Office, item D, we have 2 subrogation recoveries. The first in the amount of $8,298.25. The second in the amount of $631.06, requesting authorization for the auditor to cash the same.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Ms. Glenn,
I move to receive and file the personnel agenda.
Second.
we have a motion and a second to receive and file personnel agenda. Any discussion? Please vote. Thank you. She gets her steps in that way, so she gets at least another 20 steps
We're working on those.
toward that 10,000 that we're looking at. Yeah,
10,000.
yeah, it's tough. Public Health, Ms. Brewer. Oh, you sat on the back row. I didn't see you this morning. Good morning.
Morning.
We're seeking your approval today of the Texas Department of State Health Services grant contract for our Infectious Disease Control Unit seasonal influenza program.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lou, could I see you after this for just a moment?
Yes, sure.
Mr. Beecham.
Your Honor, the members of the court, we have 4 items for your consideration this morning. Our first item is a bid award recommendation for bid number 2008-203 concerning a contract for the purchase of articulated loaders. A recommendation would be to order on a per unit price basis, selecting as our primary vendor Continental Equipment, as our secondary vendor Equipment Support Services.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Item number 3 is also a bid award recommendation for RFP number 2008-104 This is an RFP for Family Support Program for Juvenile Services. Our recommendation would be to award to the Lena Pope Home.
Move approval.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Item number 4 is an item in regards to bid number 2008-196. This is a bid for the Correction Center hot water systems upgrades. The 2 bids that we received came in over budget. We are recommending rejection of those bids and asking for permission to rebid with revised specifications.
Move for rejection of the bids received and go for new ones.
I'll second with a question. Do you think you can bring it in budget with revised specifications?
We'll keep trying till we do.
Well, okay then.
Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
And item number 12 is an item that Mr. Manius wanted to address.
Members of the court, I simply wanted to make you aware of some activity that our office is doing in conjunction with purchasing as it relates to bids and acquisition of certain materials and products for the county. You might, obviously, everyone knows that the financial markets are really messed up right now, and the fact that there have been a lot of foreclosures. In looking at the county's budget and its financial picture, there's no indication currently that we're going to be suffering any type of revenue shortfall as we move into the tax collection season, which really is the end of December and all of January. However, in order to ensure that we have adequate revenues to meet our expenditures, I've asked purchasing to forward to me any request to purchase items, especially those items under facilities and information technology. The reason for that is because the largest expenditures or the largest budget amounts that we have in non-debt capital reside in those 2 particular departments. And we're just simply trying to see if there's items that we can delay acquiring until after the end of, or the middle of end of January, to see what the revenues that we are experiencing from the collections by the tax department are. And so we've slowed down some of those purchases. We've approved a lot more, but I wanted you to know that all of those items are coming through our office and on my desk so that we can evaluate those expenditures and see if we can simply hold off on some of those expenditures until the end of January. I think it's a prudent thing to do. It will give you a lot more flexibility in dealing with any problems that might occur in the future. And I know I've spoken with several of you about it, but I wanted to publicly make that statement. So if there are any departments that are experiencing a slowdown in purchasing activities, it very well could be because of the things that are occurring as far as checking those expenditures. I want to commend and thank Jack Beecham for working with me on this, and I think it's a wise thing to do, and we're simply making you aware of what we're attempting to do at staff level.
Yeah, I think I would say that GK, I know Debbie, Renee, we've all looked at everything. We feel very good about where we are. The budget estimates that were made with regards to our earnings. We also feel good about, from a standpoint that while you hear and we've heard of government agencies who had problems borrowing, we had absolutely no problem whatsoever when we went out for our bond issue. But at the same time, we're just saying that we're watching this, that it is on the radar. We're asking everyone to just be mindful of it, and let's just know that everybody else is kind of watching it, and we are too. And we'll just see how we look at the end of January and see where everything is from that perspective.
Do you have numbers yet that would indicate any collections at this time as compared to the previous year?
I have not. When we met, the budget director, the auditor, and I met, and we asked Ms. Price to give her comments also, and they look favorable at that point. But I just believe that in a matter, just for cautionary purposes, that we're simply going to slow down the expenditures until we are assured that those revenues are going to be in place.
No, I completely concur. I was just asking if we knew anything.
I think we had, y'all sent out the statements in October, and I think Betsy indicated to me that from the time they got them out, they got some back that first day. I mean, it was almost, it was almost like they knew they were going to get it in the mail, and they wired it about that quickly. So.
Yes, Your Honor, we have actually experienced throughout the year about 0.5 of 1%. We monitor collections each month, and we've actually experienced about a 0.5 of 1% increase year over year for each month. We've sustained that throughout the year. We were very anxious to look at those numbers each month, and we're assuming that we might see a dip in those, but we continue to see very good collections, and we will continue to monitor for those and forward those to you.
So October has been staying.
We don't have that in yet, but we're still seeing very good collections, and we as you said, we got many collections the first day that they went out, even online before the statements were even submitted. So it's very important to us, and as it is for all of us, to see that those are sustained. And we're very confident and comfortable that they'll move forward.
We're probably okay, but nobody can say that for sure. And as other jurisdictions who are less well off fiscally than we are see problems in their revenue streams, we would be less than prudent if we didn't take a strong look at this.
Well, and historically, we're going to follow, governments usually are a year or two behind the actual downturn because of the appraisal deal. So, I think our challenge as a court is going to probably be in 2010, 2011, and we just need to watch that and kind of be prepared as we go forward.
Tarrant County is still one of the most fiscally sound governmental entities in North Texas and probably in the state. We've got the strongest bond rating. We were able to meet our obligations in this year's budget and still give money back to the taxpayers. We are strong in Tarrant County as compared to other entities, which I will not name. But they're out there. You can read the papers every day and see jurisdictions that are upside down in their general accounts. Some entities are discovering $80 to $100 million shortfalls in their budgets. That's not Tarrant County. We want to make sure that Tarrant County maintains its position of leadership, not only programmatically, but on financial issues. So I support this as being a prudent thing to do.
Thank you. Thank you. Sheriff.
Good morning. We have just one item this morning. We request the Commissioners Court approve a letter of agreement with Tarrant County College District to provide instruction for Sheriff's Department employees.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Johnson.
Have an interlocal agreement with the Tarrant Regional Water District. I would move for its approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Any appointments? Okay, you have before you the claims, including the addendum.
Move approval of the claims, including the addendum.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the claims, including the addendum. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Briefing items, Mr. Manius.
Your Honor, we do not have any briefing items at this time. I would like to tell the court that our closed session will be very brief.
All right, the Commissioners Court will now recess the open session and proceed to closed. to discuss items exempted under sections 551.071, 072, 074, 076, and 087 of the Texas Government Code. And there being no business, we are adjourned. And in memory of Chuck High.
Yes, I did.